Hi, my name is Newell Davis with World Composting, and today I want to talk to those people that are looking to maybe get into composting with worms and how their first system should look, or what you should maybe debate on for a first system. So with that, we're going to take a look at some bins here. I've got a whole bunch right here, different sizes, different ideas, and different varieties, and that way you can take a look and see what would work for you and come to the best conclusion for how you should start your system this spring to start worm composting. So with that, let's go take a look at the different bins. All right, here's bin number one. This is a 7-gallon. I don't know if you can tell the size right there, but 7-gallon tote. It's about 6 inches deep or so, and it's a decent size. This is a good starter system. Nice locking lid, so you can easily drill some holes in it, drill some holes in the bottom. It's got a nice textured base on the bottom there, so things will drain out. And it's all right for a first starter, but this is a really small bin. The second that you have an issue, you're probably going to kill most of the worms in here because they can't get out, especially with it being sealed, although this does allow you to make sure you put some bug screen in. And these aren't too expensive. I think that, I don't know what they cost today. I think this was like $5 when I bought it. So this is a great starter system, but you're going to want to probably have more than one of these if you're doing this small of a system. So with that, let's go to the next step up from this system. All right, the next system here is this busboy bin. Now these are available in packs of 3 the last I checked for about $13. They might be up to 17 now. I bought these a long time ago. But what's great is that the depth inside is about 4 to 5 inches here. So it's not too deep, so that way the worms can breathe. Remember, worms are surface dwelling creatures. They're not deep down worms like the Canadian night crawlers and some of the other worms that you'd find in your garden. These are top layer detritus eaters on the top, such as leaves. So with that, this has a lot more surface area than that 7-gallon tote. It's a little bit more expensive, as I think, than the totes, but it depends on if you need this many. And as I said, you're going to want a lot of extra bins for systems this small. Now, the big deficit with these is that they do not have a lid. And that means you have to cover them. I use, and I'm going to just show a big roll right here of bubble wrap. This stuff fits usually perfectly in there if you buy a big roll of it. That's actually the first roll I bought in about 20 years. Because I was starting to have some pop and run out. But you can cover that easily, and it has a nice gap around the sides, and you can even poke some holes in it, but it allows the worms to come up between the bubble wrap, which is really good. So this system is really good, I think, for starters. I think this is what I would recommend for most starters. This is a good size. It's something that allows you to learn. It allows you to also split pretty easily, and it's easy to see. And I find that the ones that are black inside make it a little harder to look around sometimes. This reflects light a little bit better. Now let's go to the next bin and take a look at that one. If you watch my videos, this is another one that I show a lot. And this is a Rubbermaid Roughneck 10-gallon bin, I believe. 10-gallon. So this one has a lid. I usually don't drill holes in the lids. I do drill them, though. I'm going to just show you no holes in the lids here. Along the sides. These are a little bit deeper, these systems. So as you can see, this one was used recently as a worm bin. But I actually drill holes in the sides all around. And that allows the air to get in and still maintain that moisture hitting this surface and falling back in. These don't need the bubble wrap like the busboy bins do. It's a little bit deeper, which allows you to kind of move stuff off to the side to do side-to-side harvest a little bit easier than the busboy bins that I feel need to be dumped out. So this is also a really inexpensive system to start with. These things, I've had these now for 15 years, I think. Maybe 10. I guess 10, 11 years for these. And these have held up amazingly. I mean, they really have. There's been no issues with them. And every time that I have worms that I need to figure out what I'm going to do, usually they go into one of these first, and then I'll figure out if they want to move them to another system. But this is one of the best systems to start with. I really feel the busboy bins are good, but these are probably your best bet. The size-wise, they're wide enough. They've got a nice color. They're really tough, and they already have the lid included, so you don't have to buy any bubble wrap. So with that, we're going to go over a few more systems here for totes, but this is the one that I really recommend. This is my number one choice for somebody that's just starting out. It's probably one of these Rubbermaid Roughneck bins. Wow. So with that, let's go look at some other larger systems and see what you think about those for when you start growing after you have your first system. All right, this is my newest system. This is a 14-gallon tote. This is where you really start getting to the big boys of systems. Now, I will say this is the max system you're going to be able to lift. I have tried lifting larger systems in this. This right here probably weighs a good 50 pounds, and it's not even full. I can lift it still, no problem, but it is heavy. What I like about this is the screening that I can put in, and you can do all those things. You can see, the water running down right now. You can see there's a lot of castings in here. This is pretty full. This runs pretty deep. Oh, wait, hold on, the water's running off there on the sides. This system works really well for when you need that larger system and you really only want to have like one or two. You're still going to eventually have to harvest this, and I'm hoping to be able to do a side-to-side harvest when I do this. We'll see if that works. But this system also is so tall that you then need, and I'm just going to lift this up here, an under section. And I have a lifted off, so these are coming loose actually, a lifted section here, right here, so that way that it'll hold this off the ground and the water can drain out. There's actually a couple worms that made it down in there that have died. That's going to happen. But this allows this to breathe really well and get that air transfer going. So that way the oxygen can move in and out of the system. So this is a great system, I feel. I haven't really tested that much. I've only had it going for, 15 days so far. And as you can see right here from this date and the date that it currently is. And we'll see how it does. But this is as large as you can go and still be able to move the systems. Anything larger than this, it's got to be a stay-in-place system. So with that, let's go to, I think we've got 2 more systems left that we can look at. And that's it for the totes that I have. But you can make a decision. But let's go take a look at these last 2 really large systems. All right, here's the largest tote system that I have run as an actual worm bin. This is 27 gallons. And this again is one of these totes right here. I had some holes in the top, just in the center. This is actually one of the first totes that I used as a system. I didn't realize I still have my bags in here. Well, let me just take these out real quick and move these to the side. This is what I was using for my, pre-compost. But as you can see, I drilled a whole bunch of small holes in the middle. This is really too deep. That's the biggest issue I had with this worm bin. I also, if you can't see right here, I taped up these handles because the worms were fleeing and going inside of them. I also, as you can see right here, I had to put this over something so the water could drain somewhere. So I put it over another lid with some wood blocks to support it. And, I never cleaned this thing, but it's one of those things where this worked really well. I had actually a massive system going in here. I was doing updates on this. I recorded constantly, but it was impossible to harvest. With the depth that you'd get, it was impossible to do a side-to-side harvest. Everything would slide down to one side. This was completely unmovable. I did not realize this when I started this process, but once this filled up about halfway, it was basically impossible for me to move. I ended up on a table. I had to move everything to record in this system itself. I could not move this somewhere to record like I normally do. But this does work. It works pretty well. If you have a large system on the floor like this, it can work pretty well. I would definitely do a different catch mechanism than the lid like this. And with a system this large, I would definitely make it where the catch system underneath has some way to drain the liquid off that comes out. You might want to have this over some sort of trough or something that's going to run everything to one side, and that way it'll drain, and that way you can collect all the liquid that comes out. This one, it just, as you see, it just drained underneath and would just dry. There's nothing else I could do. I couldn't move it to even clean up underneath it. So this system worked really well for many years for me, but eventually I emptied it out and I sort of retired this system because of its size and weight. I just realized this was not the system for me, and I moved on to smaller systems that I could easily manage. With that, there is one last system you could build that I'm going to show you a tote for, but I will say I don't have it anymore because it broke apart, but I did have a 55-gallon tote that was a Rubbermaid tote, and it actually shredded apart, and that was actually where I used to store my castings. I didn't actually do worm composting per se in it. I would just add the castings that were harvested to it so that way they could stay moist, I could keep it covered, and that way I could add them outside eventually. But with that, let's check out the last system that I have where you could build something for yourself if you wanted a really large system. All right, final tote here, and this is a 40-gallon tote. So this thing is massive. I don't feel like moving the camera up to my ceiling to get it all in focus. Again, cut out the holes in the top. You can make it really nice and neat. But you will need to cut out a lot of the parts of the bottom here to get this to work properly, because you will need holes all over the place on the bottom so that way it can get the air transfer that it needs. Now with that, this is incredibly deep. We're talking 12 inches deep or so, and you don't really want a worm bin that deep, I have found. The worms aren't going to go to the bottom. It's going to be easier to do maybe a side-to-side harvest if you only fill it up about halfway. It could be used for some other things, but I find this system to be way too large. As I said, I stopped using a 27-gallon and went smaller. I found it easier to have multiple small bins than one large bin. Now, a large bin is really good in some cases, though, for controlling moisture, it's a lot easier to be able to add as much moisture as you want. It just doesn't matter because you have a massive system to take it. That's why I do like my urban worm bag and my vermin bags. But I found that in the bin system, it's just really hard to manage it because of the fact that, you know, there's no air transfer around the outside. You know, these walls all are contained. It's all plastic, and it makes it really hard. You can only get vertical transfer unless you cut holes in the sides, but then it's just a lot of work, I feel, for these systems. So I'm not a big fan of them. I know other people do use them, and I do want to suggest it. If you want to try something like this, I do recommend trying it. These aren't that expensive, especially if you can get them on sale. I do know that, as I think I said in the past here, but you can find, I think this was on sale for $14 or $10 or something like that, because they were trying to get rid of them as they had a red lid instead of the normal yellow lid. For Christmas. So, you know, you can find these things on sale and you can find some good deals on them. So if you want to try something that's larger and you've got the cash, go ahead and try it. Just remember, it takes a lot more work to get this set up than it does the smaller systems. The smaller you go, the easier they are to set up that first time. So with that, let me know down below, what do you think of these systems? Which ones are you running right now? Or are you running any? Are you debating on getting started? I have a lot of questions. I'd love to see some comments down below. Answer those questions and let me know what you think. And then if you're looking for some systems to run, I've got my vermin bag, my urban worm bag. I had a trash can system that I built, but wouldn't recommend that maybe. And then I have, of course, the 14-gallon tote that I just showed you, and I've got those other busboy bins. So check out my videos on that, and let me know what you think on those videos of those systems.